Hey there! Let's pretend it's not the middle of the month and let's start planning for January. I currently have a cup of lemon ginger tea by my side, and I suggest you grab something refreshing. If not tea or coffee, if that's the person you are, then grab some water because it's important to stay hydrated. Anyways, so I mentioned this in my last video, but one of my goals for 2021 is to post every week, but I was sick last week, so this video is now going up today on Monday, January the 18th, 2021. I can't believe it's 2021. It's really weird for me because this is the year I graduate, and I remember in like 4th grade or maybe 2nd grade seeing a poster in my elementary school's hallway that was like, "You're the class of 2021," and I was like, oh my god, that's so far away. What if 2021 never comes? But it did come. We're here. It's 2021, and that's really exciting because this year is going to be a big year for me. But enough about 2021. Let's talk about January. So my theme for this month is oranges and peaches. I drew a lot of lemons recently for my 2021 setup and for like a ton of pen pal letters, and I had so much fun doing it. And I got a new tombow recently, which is the tombow 992, and I thought it was yellow, but it turns out to be this more orangish yellow color. And so I started drawing oranges with it, and I love the way they came out. And so I decided, okay, my January theme is definitely going to have oranges in it. But then I whipped out my handy dandy Tombow 761, and I was like, ooh, this is a really pretty pink. And then I just started drawing peaches, and I fell in love with both of those doodles. So my January theme became oranges and peaches. I really like the simplicity of these doodles. I wanted to do a more doodly spread this month, and so that's what I ended up doing. In this shot, I'm testing out to see if I think details on top of the oranges would look good. They did not, so I decided to stick with just these 3 colors. And the 3rd color is a Crayola Super Tip. They don't really have numbers or titles, so it's like lime green that I'm using for the leaves. All my themes in the past, I don't know, there was just something about them this year that I was like not vibing with. I wanted my themes to have more of my art in them, not necessarily someone else's art or be inspired by anyone else. I wanted them to come from me and come from my brain, especially because I feel like as a bullet journalist on social media and on YouTube, I want to be creating content for you guys as well. So I want to try to come up with some fresh themes. And it's also more fun to be like, yeah, this came from my brain, and my brain only. Anyways, on this cover page, it's a really simple cover page that I just added to do and notes underneath the little January 2021 sign. And then the next part of this cover page that I did was my playlist. This is a little bit different because it's like a playlist I made before the month started, but I wanted these playlists to be in my January 2021 playlist, which they are. But if I could go back in time, I would definitely be adding Driver's License to this playlist because I cannot get enough of this song. Anyways, I usually make like an entire spread each month for my playlist, but I decided this month to just stick it onto the cover page because it just made sense to me. Music has always just been a really big part of my life, and last year I had like 176,000 minutes on Spotify or something, and that was a little shocking to me, but at the same time I'm not that surprised because I constantly have some headphone in my ear and I'm constantly listening to music. Anyways, so the songs in this playlist include No Body, No Crime by Taylor Swift, because we love Taylor Swift on this channel. Show Me How by Men I Trust, which is a super nice song, just good vibes. Self-Crucified by B. Miller. Fun fact, B. Miller was one of my top 5 artists last year. And Nothing by Bruno Major. The line, we'll put away our phones or step out of our shoes. I can't remember the exact line, but there's a line in there which we'll turn off our phones, we'll turn off our shoes, and put on, like, take off our phones. It's something like that. But I just love that line, and it makes me obsessed with Nothing by Bruno Major. So, the upcoming spread is on the other side of this cover page, and it's a calendar. I don't usually like one-page calendars. They don't really feel like enough space, but I've also been using my Apple calendar a lot more when it comes to, like, planning way in advance, because it's just easier because it can sync up with, like, Zoom meetings that I have, or I don't know, it just makes more sense to me visually to do it on Apple than it does in my journal, because I use my journal in a lot of other different ways, like more specifically task or like to-do list every single day, and I don't find myself always going back to my calendar, so I decided to keep this one simple, is what I'm saying. I outlined the calendar in green instead of like black like I usually do, because I wanted these spreads to have a lot more color. The black really only ever shows up when I'm like writing something down in my black pen, and I think that's what I like about this theme a lot. It's really colorful, and it makes it really attractive to me. Oh, and to just explain the doodles, so for the peaches, I'm just doodling small little hearts that are filled in. They're really simple. And then with the oranges, there's 3 different shapes that I'm going for. The first one starts out with a simple circle, and I'll draw a little stem with a black pen, and then a leaf on top. The next one is a semicircle-ish shape. There's a little bit more curvy around, like, parts of it. That's like an orange slice, like if you were eating like a cutie and you like took out one of the slices and you looked at it from the side. That's what the second doodle is. And then the third doodle is like as if you've cut an orange in half and then you look at it from like a 45-degree angle. Essentially, you can see the front of the orange, and you can also see the side of the orange. And I think the leaves that are on top, it's like a double leaf structure on top, really brings it together. So yeah, at this point you can see me putting together those leaves and stems in on the oranges and on the peaches, and I don't know, I really like how these doodles came out, and I haven't really seen, especially the oranges, anywhere else. So yeah, proud of myself for that, because that is what made my theme this month unique. So, also, I just wanted to mention, I'm obsessed with the lighting in this video. I think I filmed around like 4 o'clock, which was a risky move because it's winter and so the sun goes down quickly. But the lighting was just gorgeous at that time, and it just looked really cool to me. I don't know if it makes certain parts of the spreads hard to see, but I think it looks very aesthetic, and sometimes you gotta do it for the aesthetic. Anyways, for the theme, like, font that I'm doing, it's this open bubbly font, like if you took a bubble letter and you didn't fill it in, but it's also like a weird bubble letter, like it's not blocky, it's more bubbly. But yeah, you can see in front of you what I'm talking about. So the next 2 spreads that I'm doing, and the last 2 spreads that I'm doing, are a tracker spread and my content planner. I didn't really choose to include any more spreads than this in my January theme. Usually you'll see like a playlist and a full page habit tracker and a mood tracker and I don't know, several other pages that I can't currently think of. But I don't know, I just didn't want that many pages in my like first few pages for January, because I didn't always find myself using them. Mood trackers I still use, but I made a year in pixels this year, because I wanted to sort of see how my steps this year lined up with my mood, so essentially how my activity influenced my mood. So I didn't include a mood tracker this month. And when it came to like a playlist, I just included that on the cover page. So yeah, I didn't really have any other pages or spreads that I needed to include. So I only decided to track 4 habits this month. One of the first habits I'm tracking is if I'm active for 60 minutes out of the day. I was pretty consistently working out, So I wanted to challenge myself with a little bit harder of a habit to track. And it's been fun chasing after the 60 active minutes goal, because I sometimes get it, but I don't always get it. And it shows me that that's a space where I can grow when it comes to taking care of myself. Another one that I'm tracking is 64 ounces of water a day, because it's important to hydrate yourself, because that's how you love yourself. And yeah, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't, and that's okay. And then one that I've been struggling with that I'm also tracking is journaling. I decided to continue to track journaling because I'm struggling with it. I think that's the glorious thing about habit trackers, that you learn about yourself and you learn what you are, how you want to grow as a person. And so that's what habit trackers mean to me. They're not a form of oh, Rhea, you didn't do this tracker, boo on you. They're more oh, Rhea, you're doing great in this one area, and here's how you can grow in this other area. And then the last one I'm tracking is no spending, because I did splurge a little on Black Friday, and I am proud to say that as of right now, Monday the 18th of January, I am 31 plus 18 days, so 49 days. I have not spent any money because I started tracking no spending in December. As you can see, that's the bubbly font I was talking about. I did it in my content planner. It was a weird font for me. I definitely struggled. It's not as easy as calligraphy. It takes a lot more brain power for me, but that's okay. It was fun. I definitely had to sketch it out before because it's new for me, but that's okay. So the little bubble square rectangle I just made is for my screen time and sleep time tracker. I decided to combine the two charts this time because the chart, if I made it twice, takes up a lot of space. And I thought it'd also be cool to see how a bar graph and a line graph sort of stacked up on each other. Again, I did all of the outlining in color because I didn't want a lot of black to be on my spreads, because I wanted a lot more colorfulness in my spreads. So on the right hand side, which is my content planner, the sort of sections I have are a list of 1 through 31, so I can figure out which days I want to post what, mainly on Instagram, because my YouTube one is in my 2021 pages and setup. So I also have a section for rep stuff, so I do serve as a sticker rep for a couple of shops, and most of them are oh, if you could post a post with our products X number of times, that would be great, that's what's required of me. So I decided to include just that tally so I could make sure I am properly representing that brand. Then I also included a calendar so I could sort of mark each days that I actually ended up posting, and then collabs that I'm doing, a little section, because I tend to forget if I don't put them, and then any random ideas that I might have at any point when it comes to posting about content. Something I did different this month when it came to my habit tracker was I used checks. I don't usually use checks. I'll color in the box or I'll put a circle, but I decided to use checks this time because when it came to my 60 active minutes and 64 ounces of water, I wanted to be able to write down if I didn't achieve that habit. I wanted to be able to write down what parts of it I did achieve. So as you can see, it's a little bit cut off, but you can see that I'm filling in my sleep tracker right now, and then on top of that, I added the line graph for my screen time, and I love the way it turned out. You can see a more filled out version on my Instagram at Bujo with Rhea. Anyways, that is the end of this setup, and here's the final flip through. I hope you enjoy this video, and I cannot wait to see you next time.